Come back to Johannesburg, where the new mayor, Dada Morero, undertook his first official task today with continuous blackouts and ongoing water issues. The mayor says he and his team are working around the clock to solve these problems. The mayor visited reservoirs and water towers to assess water pressure that have resulted in water cuts in the metro. Let's get more details now, what came out of that briefing. I'm joined by our reporter, Pule Letshwiti-Jones. He's back. He's with me now here in the studio. Pule, good afternoon. Welcome to today. Thank you very much for your time. So tell us exactly where were you today? What is currently going on the ground in terms of water in the City of Gold?
Yes, Brian, I mean, it's no secret that the city of Johannesburg and other metros as well are currently experiencing an issue of the water crisis and water shedding in most of these communities. Today we went on a journey whereby we were taken through some of these reservoirs to see how, water is processed throughout and how it's planted out from the water plantation sites, processed through the pipelines, and how it's actually then taken through its streams to other households as well. But when we were at the briefing, we got a sense that the problems here are a group of challenges. It includes the recent heat wave, where there's been a rapid demand of water, which we understand that the water storage capacity had declined from 58% to 38%. There's an issue of load shedding again, which is quite a problem, where Rand Water says most of their substations have also been affected due to the continuous power cuts as well. And then the issue of the growing population in the province, and this is also speaking to the demand of water that's now
growing
needed.
Population, growing consumption.
Definitely, and also the ailing infrastructure. Now that's a problem. We're being told that some of these infrastructural pipelines haven't been maintained for quite some time.
So there's a lot of leaks around there. There's a lot of water loss.
Pipe bursts, water loss. It continuously grows, and this is something Rand Water is alerting the city of Joburg to say they need to be aware of. But perhaps we can just listen to what one of the officials from Rand Water had to say.
Basically, we've been having challenges, on and off. I think it's become more apparent since around middle of September, around the 14th of September, where Rand Water has had numerous challenges, operational challenges, which affected their Suikerbos treatment plant. So when they had power trips because of Eskom power failures on their side, it obviously affects their ability to distribute water to our Commander Road system in this case. So they've had numerous on and off, frequent, regular trips, power issues from the Eskom side at, I believe it was at the Letabo power station, and it was another substation that feeds, the Suikerbos treatment plant. So meaning that they weren't able to deliver the required volume of water we need to come through the Commander Road meter to feed these three reservoir systems. So as a result, our reservoirs went basically down to near empty or empty. Now, as you know, when the reservoir goes very low or goes empty, we're unable to feed our customers. Taps run dry. Now, we must understand that water is not like electricity. Electricity, if there's a power failure, when power comes back, you hit a switch and the light comes back in a few seconds or even in a second. With water, you're supplying water through a pipeline, a long series of pipelines. If a reservoir goes low or empty, it takes sometimes up to days, even weeks, to recover that storage. Because the reservoir is meant to give you reserve storage. If you don't have reserve storage, you need to first build up reserve storage to be able to feed water to consumers in the reticulation. In this case, we are entirely dependent on Rand Water to supply our system with water. Because of the operational challenges on their side, it had a ripple effect in that our systems went empty and are currently extremely low.
So realistically, was there an idea shared about when can we expect water to start running fully again in Johannesburg?
Well, we've been told over the next couple of days, could take perhaps 2-3 weeks as well. Rand Water is doing all they can to try and ensure that, the water starts again running. But most importantly, hospitals are now beginning to recover. They have now gone to the alternatives of having water tankers to at least ensure
because you
that
can't
the
run a
sanitation-
hospital without water.
You cannot. I mean, you know, sanitation is something that cannot be compromised, and they're working towards ensuring that the patient's not affected, there's sufficient water running. We spoke to some of the CEOs from Helen Josephs, from Rahima Musa. They're trying all they can to ensure that they keep water running at some of these hospitals. But, you know, the Johannesburg mayor, newly elected, Dada Morero, saying residents shouldn't worry that water will be back again at its full capacity soon. But he's also considered to the fact that they need to now roll out the program which looks into the infrastructure of not only water but electricity as well, which is long overdue. It's something that's affecting this province, which is the economic hub. It's something they need to start rolling out to ensure that services are delivered. And hopefully now with the newly sworn in Premier Panyaza Lesufi, this is something which will grab his attention to say that they need to start looking into this crisis before it escalates, before it hurts the provincial economy and businesses in the economy as well. But let's just take a listen to what one of the officials had to say.
Where we are, the Hestill, that's the area that yesterday the level was still very low. We could not really open it when we were opening Brixton. And we only started really opening the system late yesterday. It was about 6 o'clock when we started opening it partially. And we are still indeed in that process of recharging because the level, yes, is still very low, and it will need us really to manage the system very closely when we're in this process of recharging. Yes, from the Hestill specifically, the area now will be having water, despite the lower lying area, but the high lying area we may still be having challenges because we haven't opened it fully, because we are gradual opening while we are also monitoring the level. As I said, the important thing is that during the day we don't necessarily lose everything that we've gained overnight, you know, for a number of days until we bring the system back. And that's where we are. Maybe if I can just add, because I mean the issue was also affecting the other area that was affected was in the south of Johannesburg, where we have a reservoir called Crown Gardens, which we are also having challenges. So we were able also to start charging the system, pumping to the reserve into the tower zone early hours of this morning, as well as opening the reservoir area. So we are in that process of charging the system. So in that area south of Johannesburg, we could be in that same space where the low-lying area, indeed, right now they're having water. So high-lying area, of course, the aim is that as we progress in the day, we should start getting the system fully stabilized.